you anxious, avoidant, or secure? These three attachment styles tell you everything you need to know about how you give love and how you receive love. After I read the book Attached, I was able to finally see my patterns. 1 week after I finished reading that book, I met my now boyfriend. This is Mindset by Natalia. Thank you for being here and welcome to my channel. This is not a joke, okay? I actually met my boyfriend 1 week after I finished reading this book. I was truly able to know and understand and learn about attachment styles from a different point of view. I am so happy to be finally filming this video. I cannot believe I don't have a video on my channel yet about different attachment styles. So today we're going to be working with all the different ones. I'm going to tell you what all of them are. I'm going to give you insights, like actual things that I've worked through, like going from being the avoidant that I was to now being a secure attachment. What was that journey like? Because I'm telling you, it's not just one day you decide to, now I'm going to be secure. There's a lot of things that you have to learn and a lot of things that you can also look for in a partner to make this journey so much easier. Anxious, avoidant, and secure attachment styles. Let's go through the basics of each one so that you can maybe identify and understand which one you may be dealing with and your partner. Because of course it's important for you to have recognition, but you can also see patterns in your partner and you can see, are we on the right track or are we not? The avoidant is someone who purposefully is uncomfortable. Okay, maybe not purposefully, but they're uncomfortable with the security of a relationship. They're the ones that are constantly always going 10 feet back. They're a little like repulsed by someone that comes on very strong or someone that's either anxious or secure. Honestly, they're just like repelled by that. They don't want to let their emotions peek through. They have these very big walls built up that doesn't allow them to actually experience the joy of a loving relationship. They always are kind of repulsed by people that are coming at them really strong. You might be thinking, obviously, if someone's desperate, that's going to be repelling to me. But these people chronically do this. They kind of look for that in their partners. Sometimes they look for people that are the opposite of what they are because they are on this end of the spectrum and anxious people are on this end of the spectrum. Let's go on to anxious attachment. What is an anxious attachment? Anxious attached people are ones that are clinging on for dear life. They're the ones that need to be with their partner 24 hours a day. They're constantly like up in that. They feel very insecure because they don't know if their relationship is going to leave them. And finally, we have the middle ground, which is a secure attachment type. A secure attachment is somewhere in the middle, which, as I say, everything in our lives should probably be boiled to us being kind of in the middle. One extreme or the other, they're still both extremes. Try to find the middle ground in a secure relationship. Secure means you're willing to let yourself be open, to be vulnerable, to share things. You don't have that guarded wall that the avoidant does. But you also don't take it to the other extreme. You have, just like the word itself says, you have security in yourself. You're at peace, you're calm, you're not overthinking every text that someone sends you. You have like security in yourself. And that's what projects in the relationship. All of these attachment styles come from the book Attached. Fantastic book. I absolutely recommend it because obviously in a book you get so much more depth and clarity about which one you're actually like, which attachment style you're like. To preface as well, we need to acknowledge, and this is what the book says, that majority of people are secure attachment. When I read that and still, sometimes I'm like, that can't be right. But she claims, I can't remember if it's like 50 to 60% of people are actually secure attachment styles. And anxious attachment style is actually a lot less. Maybe like I don't know, 10, 15%. I'm kind of making these up. And then I remember that an avoidant is also a little higher, maybe 20 to 30%. So if you think about it, what are the people that are going to be like out there interacting with other people mostly? It's going to be avoidance. Now, I thought that this was normal. I thought, yeah, most people are kind of guarded. People, like I was used to people being avoidant, at least around my life or like in my stage of life. I was very used to having very avoidant people. But then I realized, okay, so where are the secure people? Secure people a lot of times are in relationships, not only because only a secure person can be in a relationship, a secure attachment style, but genuinely they're not afraid of giving their hearts to people. They're not also clinging on to the desperation of needing someone or having that person be there all the time. They're chill. So a lot of times they're the ones that are in relationships and relationships with each other, which is obviously amazing. It's what we want more of. Then again, not too many anxious people just in the world. And then the avoidance. Avoidance are what you're going to run into the most when you're seeing people just everyday life, going out to a bar. Most of the people will be avoidance in these situations. Like I said, 1 week after I finished this book, Attached, which I remember, it was in January 2023. And after 2024. And the week after is when I met my boyfriend. Now, when I met him, did I know like, oh, you're my partner, you're my boyfriend? No, I didn't know any of that yet, And it took me a minute to build up to being there because again, I was avoidant. My partner, luckily, was a secure attachment. And this is where it is so much easier if you're on one side of the extreme to have a partner that's that middle ground. Because it's actually pretty easy for a secure attachment to kind of like bring you to their side versus you pulling them out of theirs. It's actually, so they kind of like become like a magnet for the middle ground. And again, this is where so many good relationships can benefit from people being extremists and the other one just being like very centered and secure and securely attached in their style. As I said, in the real world, many of the people that you will meet will be avoidants. And don't start to think that this means that it's normal. Again, many people that are just kind of at home doing their own thing are going to be the ones that are securely attached. There's also this stereotype of certain genders being a specific attachment style, which is totally not true. A lot of times they'll say men are avoidant, women are anxious. It's really not that easy. Like, it's not that simple. Again, as human beings, we're not black and white. We're always somewhere in the gray. But we also can't testify that certain genders are a certain role. Like, we can't say that just because one person that happens to be of this gender is going to do that. That's not how it works. So don't carry that stigma of, yes, like, I just need to think that all men are avoidants or all women are anxious. It's, again, completely false. And hello, what about the secure attachment in the middle? That's what we should be focusing on. Again, like I said, I was an avoidant. And I came into a relationship with someone that was a secure attachment. Truly, the best thing that you can do is find a securely attached partner. I truly recommend this. Like, again, from my personal experience, coming into the middle when someone was already there and kind of helping me with the ropes, like showing me the ropes, was really helpful because he could also identify, because he wasn't always a secure attachment. He at one point was an anxious attachment and then he came, to this middle ground. But he could see patterns because he was in the extreme at one point. He could see patterns of things that I would say or ways that I would act that wouldn't genuinely come from me. It would just be this guardedness that I would hold around myself because I was scared of getting hurt or scared of being in a relationship. But again, being with him and having him cultivate the patience in our relationship helped me so much get to the middle ground. A huge thing that the book talks about is the avoidant anxious trap. This gets a lot of people. And the most difficult thing about it is that you're literally reinforcing the beliefs to be true, even though they're not. So this means that there is an avoidant dating or being in a relationship with an anxious attachment style. When these two come together, it is like they're kind of drawn to each other. Again, kind of like opposite of the ends. You would think that they would get along. But it is so dangerous when you're in a relationship because all of a sudden, the fact that she is avoidant makes him chase her all the more with his insecurity of him being in the anxious attachment style. Same vice versa. She's going to be saying, oh, like, I need a minute. Like, why is this person being so clingy? Because if you think about it, he's being more clingy than normal and she's being more like passive and avoidant to the normal because they're on the ends of the extreme. So again, this is why it's most easy if you are at one extreme to have a partner that is a secure attachment. If you're in that realm of I'm dating an avoidant and I'm an anxious attachment, it's not to say that your relationship can't work, but you're both going to have to really put in effort, okay? This is not going to be like a one person's game. This is going to be both of you coming together to really work through these things together. And that's the thing, both parties have to be willing to do that. It can't just be you. It can't just be them. It truly needs to be both of you coming together and being like, this is something we as individuals want to work on, and it'll help our overall communal relationship. It's normal to go to the other extreme. Again, you have to think of this like a pendulum, like back and forth and back and forth. If you're on this pendulum, it's kind of normal for you to go from one extreme to the other, to the other, to the other, until you find your middle ground. When I was, again, an avoidant attachment style, there was totally a point, and it was probably like a good minute into it, where I kind of swung to, oh, now I'm feeling a little anxious. But again, it's just playing it back and forth until you just find that peaceful middle ground. And again, we're humans. It's not like you're just one thing all the time. Sometimes these things are going to flare up. Again, you've lived most of your life in one of these attachment styles. So it's normal. You have to give yourself patience and time. But as long as you keep acting differently and acting in accordance with your real desire, which is to be that secure attachment, you will find yourself there. Today's takeaway is for you to find your middle ground. Truly finding the middle ground is always going to lead you success in your life. Stop clinging on to these ideas of the extremes that we hold so much and just find yourself at that peaceful middle. It truly is the best feeling. It's going to cultivate the most beautiful relationships. You're both going to feel secure. It's never going to feel like so difficult and so like yucky and like against each other. When I met my boyfriend, it was strange to me how securely attached he was. Again, I had very rarely experienced that in other relationships and just the people I was around. He was so willing to like give and get to know about me and like give back and forth, and it wasn't too much and it wasn't too little. Again, it was like that middle ground, and it felt weird. I'm gonna be honest, it felt so strange. I was like, relationships can be this easy? Like, I don't have to constantly be chasing someone down, or like I'm not constantly repulsed by how on top of me the other person is. Like, ugh, just being like, stand back, please. Like, I can just feel nice and normal. So it's a beautiful thing, and everyone should experience this healthy love, this secure attachment where you just feel safe, the other person just feels safe, and you're just humans. You're just humans doing your thing. Thank you so much for being here for today's video. I love talking about this. I love talking about attachment styles. Let me know if you know your attachment style down below. And if you are on one end of the extreme or the other, tell me, what are you doing to get yourself into that middle ground? To just find the balance, find yourself being more securely attached. With all that being said, thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.